Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Welcome to my channel. My name is Micah and today we are going to talk about some eyeshadow palettes that I've been trying recently. So these are by no means like the newest of the new releases. You hopefully know that about me by now, that I do not always talk about the latest and the greatest what's out there. I'm definitely always a little behind, I feel. There are a couple of palettes here that were released in the past few months, but some of these palettes I'm just slowly working my way through, and I thought I could do like a part 2 to some of the eyeshadow palettes that I've been trying. Let's just get started with the first palette, and that's what's on my face right now. This is Juvia's Place, the Festival palette, and it is the look I'm wearing today. So what do we have here? We have a palette that the reason why it took such a long time for me to try it out was because I was a bit like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. So that's why it took a long time for me to get to it, because it just didn't feel like a very cohesive eyeshadow palette. When I first laid eyes on it in real life, I was like, oh, what am I gonna do with that? So I did do 2 looks with it so far. What I'm wearing on my eyes today is I mixed these 2 shades on my lower lash line and into my crease. I used a combination of the red and the gray to deepen out the outer V a little bit, and then I have this duochrome white shade all over my half cut crease that I try to do today. And then the other day I went in with a couple of these like warmer tones, and then I put that blue on the lower lash line. So now that I've been using it, and I'll talk about another Juvia's Place palette in a minute where I have very similar feelings there. While this was very confusing at first and I didn't really know what to do with it, in the end, as I started just using it, it just kind of came to me. Like, you have a really nice crease shade. This is a lovely blending shades. You have 2 shades that can be used to deepen things up a little bit. You have these 2 brights, and I feel that when you combine these, and especially if you're fair skinned or if you use a very light base, these look very almost like neon, which is really, really cool. You get some gorgeous shimmers. I especially like the blue and this one right here. This is like a very pale gold, which has to be my least favorite shade in the palette. And this gray, even though it's a shimmer, it does work nicely to deepen things up. So you can sort of like pack this into your outer corner to create some depth or use it as a liner. So in the end, I feel it's a lot more versatile than I thought at first. So that's great. And yeah, I will be enjoying this a little while longer, I'm sure. Let's continue just with Juvia's Place then, because then we have it out of the way. I also used the Afrique in a recent video where I said I was nervous about using this, again, for the same reason as the Festival, is the color scheme. But again, just like with the Festival, as I started using this, I was able to pull a couple of really stunning looks out of this. In the end, it's a lot more cohesive than you might think. You do get, again, some really nice like basic shades here. The cranberry and the red and the orange combine very well, as do like the blue, green, and the yellow. Like, those are like 3 looks that you can just do. You get a gorgeous like shimmery purple as well. So again, I think what threw me off with this the most is the background of the packaging. This is set in a blue background. The Festival is set in a black, so that's a little bit better. But this blue just kind of makes everything look a little bit samey. But this is definitely one where once I started using it and putting it to my face, I actually realized how much fun this color scheme actually is. So points to Juvia's Place for the color story. One of the like older palettes that I was using from this pile that I had the longest as well was the Huda Beauty Sapphire Obsessions palette. I used this a lot at the start of May and I was really liking this. I do have to say that this has to be my least favorite of the 3 little like amethyst, and I have amethyst obsessions, emerald obsessions, and then the sapphire. I feel that this has the least versatility, and I feel it's a little bit like some of the shades don't really work very well. This shade barely shows up, and this is not very deep. It looks a lot deeper in the pan, I feel, than what it ends up looking like on my face. So again, I was able to pull some really nice blue looks with this. You definitely have a couple of blues and then a couple of more turquoise shades in here, and that's sort of the split I also made when I started creating looks. So stunning, but it's not my favorite Huda Beauty palette, and there's actually another blue palette that I would like to show you. that I like a lot better. So let's just get straight to it. I bought the Blue Blood palette by Jeffree Star. When exactly? I think early May. That's when I bought this. And I put it to the test straight away. Sometimes I can like sit on a palette for months, like with the Juvia's Place palette. But this one I was just so excited for. And one of the main reasons why I ended up buying this was one of my students. She is a huge Jeffree Star product fan, and she was like, no. She owns like every liquid lipstick he ever did and like every palette. So I just wanted to give it a whirl. The Blood Sugar had already intrigued me, but I already bought the Lime Crime Venus XL and I felt it was too similar. And you know, I wanted to try some blue, green, and purple eyeshadow. So when this came out, I knew I wanted to grab it, and I'm loving every look that I can pull out of this. As with a lot of Jeffree Star palettes, you don't get as many blues as you might expect. There's a nice like shade of blue here right in the middle, and then these ones as well, but everything else is pretty neutral. You do get like this bright like minty green, which is really, really fun. You get a really good mix of shimmer and mattes, I feel, and I do feel that the neutrals that are in here pair very well with the blues, and the reason for that is that they have a peachy undertone, and I feel that blues and peaches go really, really well together. Let me see, favorite shade in the palette. Ooh, very tough. I really like Blue Monday. Oops. That's right here. It's like a matte, like royal blue, you could say. I love Ocean Ice, which is like a very, very gorgeous, almost glitter, but it's not really a glitter. And then you have some more like green tone blues as well. So I also really liked Entitled, which is a gorgeous shimmer. The minty one, which is Minty. And let me see. Oh yeah, Undertaker right here in the corner. In a lot of pictures, I felt it looked very black. But now that I have the palette, it's like a very, very deep navy blue. So I feel that this has everything I need from a blue palette. And that's probably why the Huda is just a little less of my favorite. I am eyeing up the Jawbreaker palette, I do have to say. I like the look of that. But since I only just got this, I don't really feel the need to invest in another Jeffree Star palette. He is a bit controversial as well, of course, so that's why it took me a long time to actually finally buy one of his products, but I'm very happy with the quality so far. Now, you know perhaps that I wanted to try some more indie brands this year, so I got myself some indie brand palettes, which I also would like to talk about. I bought the Queen of Hearts palette by color Raine, I think in March. For some reason, like this is on Beauty Bay, and it's like at the regular price point, but sometimes Beauty Bay does these random sales, and I wanted to get this and another palette that I'll be showing you in a minute, and those were on sale, and it was like a good percentage off as well. I think it was like 25% off, so that was good. I do not like that this is just a sleeve though, because the palette itself is a bit boring, so I keep the sleeve because that's part of the fun. And the reason why I wanted to try this, a few years ago when this came out, everybody was raving about how gorgeous this was, and I really wanted to try Colored Raine formula as well. The main reason why I got it is I saw this palette in real life at like a very small makeup store in Leiden, which is a town where I used to live, and they sell a lot of like off the beaten track brands that you can't really find here, and they had this palette as a tester, and I swatched this shade right here called Royal Highness, and it took my heart. I was like, I need that palette, and that's when I put this on my wish list. I do have to say that I'm a little bit over the kind of color scheme that you get in here, but I think it was a good palette to try the formula. This, of course, does have a couple of purples. I do have to say that my least favorite shade in the palette is this matte purple, because I feel it is a little lackluster. It does take a lot of building up to get it to really have the payoff. And also this orange, I'm just not a big fan of orange on myself. This is Empress, so that's not my favorite. I like these two shimmers on the end very much. And even though I'm not a big fan of golds, Your Majesty is a really stunning shade. So I do feel that this is a very well-rounded palette, and I'm pretty sure, like, I get the hype and why so many people loved it when it came out. But I do have to say that sort of like the trends have kind of caught up with this. And that's why I will still be using it, because I do like it. But I feel I have something very similar in my Huda Beauty Desert Dusk, and I feel that that palette is a little bit better than this. Another indie brand that I wanted to try was Blush Tribe. This is their Hasina 2 palette. In the other video I did in this theme, I mentioned Certify, and Certify is run by the sister of the owner of this brand. So that's really nice. And I really like the gorgeous packaging that they do. And since I've now tried this, I really want to try some more Blush Tribe. That new Layla 2 palette that they're coming out with over the summer, that looks gorgeous. It's like an old green. And it's now, I think you can pre-order it now, but I'll definitely wait around a little bit. I don't mind if things sell out first and I need to wait a couple of months. But the Blush Tribe Hasina 2 looks like this. I mentioned at the start of 2019, I wanted to try greens, blues, and purples. And this gives you everything in one go. And I have to say that I'm very pleased with the looks that I pulled out of this. It's very easy. You can stick to the greens, you can stick to the blues, you can stick to the purpley pinks here, and you've got 3 looks. Like, it's such a cohesive color story, but of course purples and greens and purples and blues really go together very nicely as well, and of course blues and greens as well. So I feel that this is very cohesive, but since you have a good range of depth and shimmer and mattes, I feel you can do a lot with this. This is a palette that truly inspires me. Another brand that I really wanted to try because so many people rave about their products is BH Cosmetics, and I got myself the Royal Affair palette. This is the other palette that I got off of Beauty Bay together with the Queen of Hearts because I just wanted to try the brand, and this was on sale for 11 euros. So for 11 euros, I really don't mind it. Is this the best eyeshadow quality I've ever tried? No, it's not. And the reason why I bought it is because it looks quite cool toned and because it has some interesting shades. I have to say, now that I've used it, I don't feel it's very cool toned. In fact, you get quite a lot of warm tones. This is a full row of warm tones. You get quite some warm tones in here. These greens are also quite warm as well. I think that the only real cool tones you're getting are these ones. And some of the shimmers have a bit more of a cooler undertone like these two here, but really I would say the majority of this is quite warm. But if I really had to categorize it, it's probably somewhere more in the middle because nothing's too cool and nothing's too warm, so it kind of works quite well like that. And the shade that of course draws you in straight away is this one. This is Crown, and this is like a chartreuse limey green shimmer, which is really, really pretty. I have to say I could have done without the entire first row here. So what I did when I created looks with this is that I went like this because I felt that that way each row was like a look. And this is like the kind of shades I have in like a million different palettes. Same goes for this bottom row. The 2 in the middle are the ones that intrigue me the most and that I also got the most sort of enjoyment out of when I was doing a look. Especially this row with that really gorgeous chartreuse shade. It works really well. It shows up really well. Chartreuse can be very difficult to sort of really pop on your lid. But I feel that this is a good range of like neutrals and shimmers. This cocky green is very stunning. And this goldy shade, because it's pretty light, it works really well as an inner corner highlight as well. So these are some stunning eyeshadows. Will I be buying more BH? Not anytime soon. I've now tried the formula. I don't need anything else by them. Another more affordable brand that I tried is Milani. This is their Most Loved Mattes eyeshadow palette. Let me open this up before I blind you. I bought this in the Black Friday sales and I didn't really use it yet because I thought it was a bit boring. Like, I'm into all of these like super fun, colorful eyeshadows at the moment. And then something like this is just so plain and like everyday. It's very plain and everyday. So if you like that kind of thing, this will be really nice. Again, just like with the BH, you get 3 like columns in this one. One is more neutral, this is more like purpley cool toned, and this is very warm. I do have to say that the purple one, it has to be my favorite because I love purples. But these are a little too warm for my liking. This looked very sort of like, it was nice for like a gradient, but that's the only thing I really see myself do with that row. These two are really nice. The quality of this is absolutely stunning. That's really, really one thing that Milani just nailed with these like little square palettes. But I do have to say that this won't be my favorite. The Soft and Sultry, which I showed in my Cool Tone palette video, I think I like that one a lot better than this. And then I have 2 eyeshadow palettes by ABH for you. I bought these 2 actually together when the Riviera launched. So the Prism is still available on the official Anastasia website, and because I'm sort of like I wasn't a big fan of Anastasia eyeshadow when the Modern Renaissance came out, but then I tried a couple of their like later palettes, And again, I bought most of them over the Black Friday sale. It really got started with Norvina for me. I thought that was like a color scheme I could get down with. I hadn't bought any of the others that had come out, but now that I tried that, and I was like, yeah, I do really like the formula. So I got a couple on sale for Black Friday, tried them all out, loved them. So I just wanted to complete the set. I've told you this before, I'm a completionist. So the Prism palette, I knew I had to get, because this also goes with Subculture, and I know, controversial opinion, but the Subculture so far is my favorite color story by Anastasia. The shades are a bit tough to work with, I'm not gonna lie, but I love that one. And I feel that this has a couple of very comparable shades to that. Again, a very interesting color story that you might at first think, ooh, but it has so many stunning shades, and I feel that they combine a lot better than you might initially think. This shade is one of my favorites. This is Dimension, and that, for instance, goes very well with Osiris and this shade. So I do feel because of the layout of this palette, it becomes a little bit more difficult to use. And the main reason why I wanted to own this is Throne, which is like a very deep foresty green with like a teal shift to it. I love that one. But since this is very hard to get by now, let's just move on to the latest release that they did. Well, it's not their latest because they've already come out with a new palette, which I'm not getting. But the Riviera palette is one that I did a palette bingo with, and I got all the boring shades. I didn't get any of the fun ones, which, story of my life, but hey. I did really enjoy the looks because, of course, I did do other looks with this palette after that palette bingo to see how everything worked in the palette. I love these bright pops. And I really enjoyed Palermo, which has a very nice, interesting shift to it. Seaside was one that I did get in that palette bingo, and that's really, really stunning in the inner corner or as a bit of a liner. I like Mediterranean. I just really like some of the shimmers. The only shade I really don't like is Inheritance. I'm just not a big fan of yellow tone golds. But these neutrals are stunning to like blend things out. You get a dark brown, not a black. I love it when brands don't put in a black. Yacht is like a really nice bronze. I can't really fault this palette. This is one that I'm going to be enjoying for a long time. And those are 10 eyeshadow palettes that I have been trying in the past few weeks or months. I'm not sure when the last time was I did this video, but yeah, let me know if this is something that you'd like me to do a little bit more. I definitely try a lot of eyeshadow palettes, so whenever I have something new in, I can like group them together and do a video like this. I think it works really well. So thank you very much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more by me. I make new videos 3 times a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, 5 AM Central European Time. And that means that we've come to the end of the video. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!